Okay, so we'll start off with a little bit of backstory on Maya and her quests. I'm sure most people remember Maya and the weird medicine fondly. It's one of the lowest level generic quests that everybody would receive. I'm pretty positive that Maya has been in the game since the very beginning. She's one of the earliest NPCs, and Maya's weird medicine was also one of the first quests added to the game as well. That quest leads into some other quests as you leveled up. I assume once Osiria was added, it got expanded with the Lionel quests, which continued on further once Omega Sector was released. Anyway, to begin with, Maya would contact you to ask you for a favor. She's been suffering from sickness for a while, and even doctors can't help her. It's gotten so bad that she can't even take care of herself, and she asks you to get her some weird medicine. She doesn't know how exactly, but she directs you to someone who may know, Tio, in Lith Harbor. So you travel to Lith, and you speak with Tio, and he even has some weird medicine, but he won't give it to you for free. He's willing to trade it for a sparkling rock, however, and he gives you some directions on how to get to Pirion, and says that you should speak with Sophia, the daughter of the owner of the department store there. So you take some time traveling there, and after meeting Sophia, who is working on her dream to become an alchemist, she tells you that the sparkling rock is a very rare stone. To make it, you'll need squishy liquid, leaves, octopus legs, and Archon's blood. Everything should be pretty easy to obtain aside from the blood, which you may want to ask Manji about. So you climb up the tallest cliff in Pirion and you ask Manji about Archon's blood, which he tells you is something that you cannot have unless you can prove how strong you are. There's a cave underground in the middle of Victoria Island, and in the deepest part live the mutants of Archon. If you can take down the monsters in the cave and collect the charms of the undead, you'll prove yourself to him. And once you've done so, he gives you a bottle that contains the blood of Archon, whom Manji says that he has slain before. He does ask what you're planning to do with it, since it's used as a material for precious important items, but you don't really tell him anything. And he says it's none of his business anyway. Now that you've gathered everything needed for Sophia, she makes you the sparkling rock, which gives off a strange light and starts glittering, shining all by itself. You return to Lith Harbor to deliver it to Tio, who trades you the weird medicine in return. And then you travel back to Henesys and you give it to Maya. As a sign of thanks, she gives you 5,000 mesos and an old raggedy brown bamboo hat. After finishing this quest, it leads into 3 others, one of which I'll cover at a totally different time. So after returning to Maya, after some time goes by, she actually does seem to get better due to the medicine, and she's noticed how much stronger that you've become as well. She asks you for a favor collecting some things so that she can make something, but she kind of needs a whole ton of things. Snail shells, blue snail shells, mushroom spores, tree branches, fireboar's teeth, Bubbling's huge bubble, pig's ribbons, tablecloths, lupin dolls, cold eye tails, torty shells, iron hog's metal hooves, some cling claws, dark stone golem rubble, wild cargo eyes, taro massy horns, and finally, 1 diamond. Once you've collected everything with the context of the various monster parts, I'd like to assume what she makes are a pair of the level 60 Bowman Gore boots. However, in the quest log, the completed quest description for this says that as a sign of appreciation, she gives you the pair of shoes that her grandmother made for Athena Pierce. It may be really old, but it still looks brand new. So at another time, a few days after giving Maya the medicine, she thanks you and tells you that she feels much more healthy. She actually does have something secret to show you, which she hasn't told anybody about. She moves around a bit and looks towards the bottom of the bed, where you can see below is a kitten, huffing and puffing for breath and looking badly scarred. Maya says it's a baby lioner. It's just a baby, but it's a monster nonetheless. She was digging out some herbs when she found it crawled up between some rocks, and she pleads with you to save it. If other people ever found out that she was nursing it, she might get driven out of town, and you're the only person that she can ask for help. So to sanitize the wounds, she'll need a whole lot of holy water, and she'll use the Yeti fur balls with the holy water on them and cold eye tails to settle the wounds. After you gather everything, she proceeds to help the baby lioner that screams in agony when she's treating it, but she makes sure that the wound doesn't get infected. When you return to check on Maya and the baby lioner, she's managed to stop the bleeding, but its breathing is heavy and it's getting worse. She figures that the creature is poisoned, probably due to the poisonous herbs that she picked out, along with the actual medicinal herbs. She'll need a combination of medicines in order to detox the lioner, and she brings out some sort of apparatus used to combine everything, and you go and you gather the ingredients, which are a few antidotes, fly eye wings, and Nepenthe seeds. After she combines everything and feeds it to the lioner, she says it'll fall asleep and probably still have a tough time, but it should be completely detoxed by tomorrow morning. So you come back sometime later to check up on Maya and the baby lioner again, and she says now it just needs to regain its strength. Maybe you can feed it with some food to energize it. And from what she knows, lioners love fish. So she suggests that you don't go buy fish from a merchant because it would kind of look suspicious. But if you go steal some from Junior Pepe, it should work out well. After you do so, she calls it Lionel as it staggers to the food and chows down. And she says that Lionel is a combination of Lioner and Lionella, who is a good friend of hers. She'll take care of Lionel for the time being, and you can drop by every now and then to check up on it. When you do eventually return, Lionel nuzzles up against your legs. Maya says that it's really quiet and subdued, to the point where she can't even imagine it being a monster. She wants to keep him, but she knows that she can't, so she plans on freeing Lionel once it's fully healthy. Until then, though, she has to keep it inside of the house, which is not healthy. So she comes up with this idea to disguise it, dressing it up with a necklace to make it look more like a house cat. If she buys one here, though, it might attract unwanted attention, which I don't understand because it's just a necklace for a cat and it would make more sense. But she says that she can ask Tio of Lith Harbor for a favor, but then has you ask for her. So you visit Tio, and he asks if Maya's sick again. You fill him in on everything, and there's an old saying apparently that the sickness starts from within. And it kind of makes sense that she's been healthy ever since adopting a new pet, but he's no expert. He would help, but he's pretty busy himself. And if you gather the items to make the necklace, he'll at least introduce you to the jewelry store where you can make it. So he has you gather croco skins and dragon skins to cover the leather, and 7 luster pixies sun pieces for decoration purposes. After you gather everything up, he sends it to the jewelry store to be made. And he says that it's alligator skin and dragon scales combined to make a one-of-a-kind necklace. Anyway, you take this necklace to Maya, and she pours you some green tea that she got from Alinea, and she says that she'll write a thank you letter to Tio. She puts the necklace on Lionel, who doesn't seem to mind it, and now they can finally go outside together. When you return once again to check up on the pair, she says that there's a new problem. She wanted the necklace so that she could walk Lionel, but it doesn't seem to want to take a step outside. She thought at first Lionel didn't want to leave the house because of the town that's populated with a bunch of people, but now that might not be the case. She asks if you remember when Lionel first came here, full of scars. At the time, Lionel's white fur intermingled with a few strands of brown hair. And after looking it up, she found that they belonged to a Hector. Lionel must have been attacked by a Hector, and it's probably why Lionel keeps shivering at night when hearing the wolves howl. So her request is that you gather up Hector tails, so she can show them to Lionel so it can grow out of its fear. As you do so, and you return to Maya with the Hector tails, she tells you that something terrible has happened. All of a sudden, 2 monsters, Celion and Grupin, came by and took Lionel away. It wasn't forcefully. The monsters came up to Lionel and hung out with it, wagging their tails in the process, but it dawned to her that they were all friends. She was totally ready to fight them at first, but they never attacked. And when they were taking Lionel back, they just sat in front of her. However, Lionel kept looking back at her on its way out until she was too far to see, and she held back her tears and let it go with a smile. She's sorry that she went through the trouble of getting the Hector tails, and she gives you a scroll as thanks. It'll be impossible to replace Lionel, but she asks you to congratulate it. Maya is smiling this whole time, but you see her eyes finally shed a tear. At some completely other time, when you're in Elnath and you're speaking with Scatter, a hunter from Elnath, he tells you that he was attacked by a werewolf monster. He's heard one of the soldiers who walked into town was also attacked by the same monster, Master Sergeant Fox. And Scatter tells you that he ran into it at night when he lit a torch, and all he could see were a set of intimidating eyes, along with 7 sparkles that flashed around its neck area. So you go and you speak with Master Sergeant Fox, who tells you that he was unable to defeat the monster in the Snow Valley. He doesn't have plans to face it again, and he'll tell you why he fought it after you gather some things for him. Lazy Buffy marbles, which he tells you not to ask how they'll be used. Anyway, as promised, he tells you that the Omega Sector actually put a red flag on it and are moving in as you speak. They're gathering up troops, and Master Sergeant Fox is one of them. He thinks it's pretty strange that the Omega Sector, who prides itself on protecting the land, put up a red flag on a monster in a remote snow valley far away from their base and are gathering troops to combat a single monster. Clearly something's up. So he advises you to go eavesdrop on General Maestro, wherever he is. So, of course, you travel all the way to Omega Sector, and you find General Maestro talking to himself, and you hide behind a bush to eavesdrop. He's saying something about it being bigger than they thought. Lycanthrope? Crazy scientist? Something has to be done before chaos further ensues. Is it a monster? They all gathered up and did the unthinkable. And then he notices that you were spying on him. He sees your general look and surmises that you've seen your fair share of chaos, so he decides to tell you the story. Months ago, A scientist hired by Omega Sector broke the ultimate code of conduct. He gathered up a bunch of monsters, showed them a strange ray of light, and then they transformed into a bunch of lycanthropes. Monsters are usually just that, monsters. But when a lycanthrope completely overwhelms even an army like Omega Sector's, there's nothing that they can do about it. And he does remember a tame-looking Lionel too, wearing a necklace. Anyway, there were about 100 lycanthropes created that escaped the lab and disappeared along with the scientist. Ever since then, they've kept themselves on the down low, which has forced General Maestro to gather troops to search for them, and then he put out a code red. So, of course, he asks you to help, if you can, to eliminate 50 lycanthropes, because finding 100 is near impossible, so 50 will do just fine. When you bring him proof, he rewards you with a scroll. In the in progress section of the quest log, you say that you can't let the lycanthropes create havoc over innocent people. It might not be what Maya wants to hear, but you'll have to kill the lycanthropes. After you finish the quest, in the completed section of the quest log, you say that while you hunted them, you didn't find the lycanthrope with the necklace. You're sure it's alive somewhere, and it might sound odd, but you decide to believe that it's true. And that's about it for the Maya and Lionel lore. So it sort of has a complete ending, but then they added the lycanthrope thing, which they do allude to in the quests, but it doesn't really have an ending there. I think they meant to carry this questline on further, but it never ended up happening. I would have liked to even meet Lionel as a lycanthrope, or maybe just found Lionel as a normal Lioner near the rest of the lycanthropes or something, or maybe found the scientist that was responsible. It would have been pretty cool, but it's actually kind of a much grimmer ending now that I think about it. Obviously, the monster that Scatter says that he saw and was attacked by was Lionel. The 7 sparkles that flash around the neck area is meant to reference the necklace that you made with the 7 luster pixie sun pieces. I'm not really sure who Maya's friend Lionel is that she named Lionel after. I've searched through the game files a little bit to see if there's any NPC named that or in any other dialogue strings, but there isn't. So I think it was just something that was made up for this quest. I think it's really cool that there is actually a sense of progression with these quests, as Lionel gets healthier and stronger and stuff. It technically isn't a single quest line, it's more like 5 of them that string together, but it's actually pretty cool to see how it eventually ties together with the different areas. I have no idea how a baby Lioner, which I assume was a junior Lioner, even got to Victoria Island, since they're pretty much only found in Orbis. But I thought it was cool that they even mention that it looks close enough to a house cat to disguise it as one. Anyway, I've been trying to organize both the Elnath lore and the Tristan lore lately, and since Maya's medicine leads into the original Old Gladius quest, and this questline also involves Scatter and Master Sergeant Fox, both from Elnath, naturally I ended up reading over this, and then I thought it was pretty cool. There's a really little thing that gets skipped over in the very beginning of Maya's weird medicine. Archon's blood is like really intriguing. We don't really know who or what Archon even is. All that we know is that in the deepest part of the caves beneath Sleepywood are the mutants of Archon. Now, I'm not really sure which monsters these refer to, but the quest has you gather charms of the undead, which are from zombie mushrooms. And there's all sorts of monsters in the caves though, so technically it could refer to like any of them. We do know that Manji himself has defeated Archon before, but at some point I think the dialogue was fixed up a little, and Manji says, instead, the bottle contains the blood of an Archon he slew. So potentially that means Archon is a type of monster rather than the name of a singular entity. Also, in the redone quests, he doesn't even talk about the caves in the center of the island or the monsters. Instead, you would defeat a couple of wild boar and you would get their teeth to prove your strength. In another quest though, after helping some of the Pyrrhion residents, such as Stands with Bulls, he would give you Archon's blood to deliver to Manji, and he's kind of hesitant to entrust it with you and tells you that whatever you do, do not spill Archon's blood. You give it to Manji, and he says that he hasn't seen Archon since he defeated it himself. Now, although those quests have ultimately been removed, Archon's blood is actually still an item in one of the Mercedes quests. Winston in Pyrrhion promised Manji the blood some time ago, and he just now got his hands on it. So Mercedes is meant to deliver it to Manji, but there's no further information on it. So, unfortunately, of course, like many questlines, the entire Maya quests have been removed from the game. You literally can't do a single one of these quests anymore, which is unfortunate. So usually I make videos pretty infrequently, but for now I'm sticking to a schedule of once a week on Mondays. If you want to subscribe and click the little bell icon, you can get a notification when I actually do get around to making another video. Also, I only get like 150 views on these videos, so if you want to share it with your friends or something, that would actually help like a lot. But anyway, if there's anything important that I'm missing, let me know.